So it's Thursday evening and it's time again to talk all things cars. But this week I want to take a break from our usual weekly reviews and shootouts and chat about something a little less glamorous, but perhaps more important. You, and more specifically, your safety. The silly season is close upon us and we as South Africans love to travel. We pack up our families and luggage, fill the car up and venture to our favorite holiday destinations. It's all very exciting and always something most of us look forward to. A sad reality is that many of us don't make it to our destinations. Now, before you tune the dial away, motoring safety is something that we as a nation need to be more cognizant of and treat with more intention than perhaps we've done before. Well, here are some of the fast facts. Every day, 3,200 people are killed on roads around the world, most of these being in low and middle income countries, with South Africa contributing around 40 deaths per day and 15,000 annually. The country's mortality rate per 100,000 citizens is one of the worst in the world, and the largest unnatural killer of children in South Africa today is road crashes. That's according to the National Road Safety Strategy 2011 to 2020. According to the South African Department of Transport, between the 1st of December and January 11th, 2015, we had 1,387 fatal crashes here in South Africa, with the highest figures coming from, yep, you guessed it, the Eastern Cape at 17.1%. Small motor vehicles accounted for 47.9% of total crashes during the season, followed by light delivery vehicles at 22.7%, minibuses or combis at 10.1%, and trucks contributed 4.8%. The majority of people who died were passengers at 38.3%, followed by pedestrians at 34.9%. Drivers contributed 23.9% of the fatalities and cyclists 2.8%. The age group most affected for drivers as well as passengers and pedestrians was between 25 to 39 years of age, accounting for about 47.9% for drivers, 38.5% for passengers, and 34.3% for pedestrians. The International Transport Forums ranked South Africa the worst out of 36 others when it came to the number of road fatalities. So what can we do about it? Well, there are a few actions we can implement into our daily lives, and over the next 3 Thursdays, we'll pick up on what we can do as motorists and pedestrians. So today we will chat about 3 things we can do to assist in combating road accidents and deaths. Firstly, a few misnomers. According to Arrive Alive, up to 90% of the factors contributing to road accidents are human factors. Other factors include vehicles, 5 to 20%, and road factors between 5 and 10%. So before we go blaming the equipment, let us take an honest look at ourselves. Now, the challenge of prescribing some easy do's and don'ts is that they are just that, easy. They seem too simple, and as such we are inclined, at least here in South Africa sometimes, to ignore them. So with no further ado, here they are. Well, you know it was coming. Your cell phone. More to the point, distracted driving is the first and easiest change of behavior we can adopt to mitigate the chance of causing or becoming victims of accidents. Netcare General Manager Monday Topkin adds, the impairments associated with drunken driving and texting while driving has much in common and are both illegal in South Africa as well as exceedingly perilous activities. It is impossible at present to establish how many motor vehicle crashes in South Africa may be related to distracted driving, which may include using a mobile phone or other technologies while on the road. We certainly have many patients who are admitted to Netcare's emergency departments who report that their vehicle accidents were related to one or other form of diversion while they were at the wheel. Further research from the National Safety Council of the USA indicates that contrary to popular belief, we cannot, in fact, multitask. Activity in the parietal lobe, the area of the brain that processes movements of visual images, is important for driving and decreases by as much as 37% when listening to language or talking on the phone. So top tip number 1, flight mode. You would probably want the pilot of the airplane you were a passenger on to switch off his phone, just as the flight attendants tell you to turn off your mobile device. Likewise, you as the pilot of your vehicle should not take calls, and certainly not text while driving, ever. So whether it's a trip to the shops, just let it ring and return the call or message at your destination. Better yet, on longer journeys, turn your phone on flight mode or do not disturb mode if you are using the GPS. And then return your messages and calls at a mandatory 2-hour bathroom or fuel break. Top tip number 2, drunk driving. So I know that this has been hammered into us, justifiably so, by campaigns such as Arrive Alive. But the sad reality is that we, South Africans, tend to sometimes ignore these. So what can we do? Well, let's leave that awkward situation out when we try and confront the guy or girl who's had too much to drink and just focus on ourselves here for a second. If you are attending a year-end function or event or party where there will be the possibility of you drinking, start being in the habit of pre-booking your Uber or Goodfellas. So the first two top tips, being distracted or inebriated, are applicable for everyday driving. The next top tip I want to touch on is perhaps more focused for out-of-town and freeway driving. That is the activity of overtaking. Now, this is a bit of a sensitive one. As someone who reviews cars and does a lot of out-of-town driving, I've noticed that, in general, here in the Eastern Cape, we are not really good with this idea. I've seen motorists often either mistime or misjudge their overtaking of a slower vehicle. So here are 3 easy top tips when the need for overtaking arises. Number 1, just don't. If at all you feel uncertain or unsure, err on the side of caution. This may seem very simple, but simply waiting for a better opportunity can save you and your family's lives. Number 2, don't be rushed. Plan your trip and leave early. Do not put yourself in a situation where you feel hurried, nor let other motorists rush you. If you are not comfortable overtaking the vehicle ahead, simply extend your following distance to allow other vehicles to safely overtake you. Number 3, know the capability of your vehicle. If you have a smaller engined car or a heavy laden vehicle, your ability to accelerate past the other vehicle safely as well as change lanes should be well known to you before you attempt to essentially put 2 fast moving objects in close proximity to one another. So that wraps up this week's banter on all things motoring. Be sure to tune in next week with me, Duncan MacDonald, for more on safety this festive season. If you have any queries or comments, please make contact with me via email at duncan@upstreammedia.co.za. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, happy and safe motoring.